Welcome to the Daily Gripe. First of all, happy Father's Day, Neil, and to all the fathers out there. Um, so, we're going to talk about Dialog. Dialog is this super secret society that was created by Peter Thiel, the South African billionaire that just fled the country to go to Argentina for interesting for whatever reason we don't know. But a hacker from Switzerland who goes by the name of Maia Arson CrimeW managed to hack into this super secret society and got a list of names which she released on her platform on Blue Sky, and you go look that up, look her up on there. But I wanted to point to the kind of people that are in this group because it should really kind of give you an idea of why we are in the situation that we're in. So I'm gonna share my screen just so you can get an idea. Oh,
Yeah, show us who's been to Rape Island.
yeah, that's probably
Mhm.
where they all have been. Let me see. There
Show
it
us
is.
show us the Rape Island list.
So
God, you can't even see that.
you can't even see it. Well, I'll do my best to zoom in for those of you that are watching. But just to give you an idea, the names of these people are like industry executives, dignitaries, other billionaires. They're involved in financial companies and in tech companies. Susan Athey, a professor and former U.S. Department of Justice. Scott Bessent is on there. But what really made my eyes pop out was Cory Booker. Senator Cory Booker, Senator
Not
Ted Cruz
surprised.
is no,
Not
that's
surprised.
really?
Not
Now
surprised.
Ted Cruz doesn't surprise me.
Wes
We've
Moore is
got
on there.
Wes Moore,
Yep.
but
Governor of Maryland.
the governor of Maryland, and also what is it? Paulus, Governor Paulus
Yep.
of Colorado. Let me stop sharing this for a moment. Hopefully you guys get your screenshots in. Yeah. So I mean, there are a lot of people involved with this society. The society, from what I understand, was done by invite only, and they have invited all of these major players. And this kind of reads like the kind of list of people that show up at Davos, right?
Listen, it's not just showing up at Davos. They show up to congressional hearings. These are the experts that they bring in, right? The industry people are the industry experts that they bring in to get past the legislation that they want to pass, right? So we are all meant to think that these people are independent, but they're not, right? Like what we're seeing is that really the merging, I want to say, right, of your government and private interests, right? In what is considered to be now a fascist state of allowing these wealthy oligarch individuals to control commerce is really what it
Yes.
comes down to. And what have they done? They've decreased taxes, right? We've heard that a million times. We have to give job creators, right? They call them job creators, right? This is where they come up with those fucking names. But they weren't job creators. They were taking the money and raping and murdering little children, right? Like, I mean, so it's really mind-boggling to me that Americans still believe this shit, right? Given the fact that, like, this stuff has been known forever, right? Now that it's coming out, though, it's like I'm sorry, they're right wing, and QAnon was right. There were secret cabals to undermine and upend the United States and its democracy, right? Like all the things, right? So it goes back to what we've always said, right? Every accusation is a confession.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. This is 100%. Every accusation is a confession. And so now these people are embedded in our government. Democracy has become just an illusion. We
Not
had it
just our
briefly.
government, not just our
Yeah.
government, right? Industry. You're talking
Yes.
schools, right? You're talking major institutions that have a say in dictating how education is taught throughout this country. Okay. So you have schools, you have major industry players from all different types of industries, right? Who have a say in public policy related to that industry, right? So if you didn't watch it, go watch it. Mr. Global, right, who we've talked about on this show all the time, right, went in front of Congress and actually did a thing in front of Congress. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
His opening statement, and he talked about how policy in the United States doesn't work for Americans. That Americans don't produce any oil. Oil companies produce oil, right? The mythology
Yes.
that we have is our government continues to tell us, oh, America is the number one oil producer. America is not the number one oil producer. America doesn't produce any oil whatsoever. Corporations produce the oil. The benefit doesn't come to us, it goes to them, and it goes into billionaires' pockets. Okay. That's what the advent of living in a capitalist society is, right? The fascism comes in when the policy, right, is geared as such where those billionaires end up keeping all those profits, okay, and end up directing the market so that we don't get any benefit whatsoever. And what's
Uh,
happening is not only do we not get a benefit, it's actually a detriment to us. Public policy has now been such changed throughout the years where it's actually a detriment to the American people, and we're now feeling it, and we know
yeah.
that something's wrong. Okay. We all know that something's wrong, right? We don't believe that Democrats are the ones that are going to solve it. And I'm in agreement with that because the Democrats have shown, right? They're on this list too,
They're on this list. They're
right?
on this list. Look, Jared Polis, governor of Colorado, released Tina Peters from prison.
Yes.
The woman
Yes.
who was found guilty of defrauding voting machines. She got tried to throw out votes.
Yes.
And
But this
so
is
is
this is what I'm saying though. It's both
so
sides.
it's
And
well, it's
yep.
really one side. The one side is the upside, the
Yes.
top 1% here calling the shots and using the two-party system against each other to keep us fighting with each other. It's an old story. It's been around for a long time. The Nazis did this and it goes back even further. It's how these people get more and more power. And they try to convince you that if you give us a tax break, we're going to create jobs instead of consolidating together to create more power for ourselves. And now we got AI growing and that's replacing jobs. So you're not even getting the jobs at this point.
Ask
Y-
yourself this. This is really the question that we have to ask ourselves. You hear Republicans say one thing and you hear Democrats say another thing. Okay. And you as the public, right? You're meant to believe that those are the only two options, right? That they are giving you both but here's the thing, the billionaires have already carefully crafted both of those, right? To get the same goal, right?
There you go.
That go towards the same goal. In other words, we never get, and then anytime a Mamdani comes along, right, and says, "Hey, these two aren't giving you the real options. I'm going to come along and I'm actually going to give you a real option." Right? The public fucking loves it. The public loves it. They had to stop putting Mamdani on Fox News because the public loved what he was saying. Okay? They had to stop showing the guy because the Fox News viewers loved what Mamdani was saying. That's the problem. The problem is not what they're doing. It's what they're trying to sell you.
Yes.
Both sides. And when I say both sides, I mean the establishment. So this is why you have to look for candidates that are really thinking outside the box, that are done with the box, telling you to take that box and shove it up your ass, right? And they're actually now putting forth policies, actual policies that actually will impact real Americans.
That works for
Okay?
the American people.
Right. And that's what we need. We need policies that actually work for America, not for these billionaires, right? And that's why I go back with look at go look at that list. Look at the list of people. Look at all the names that are going to that retreat, going to Rape Island, wherever the fuck they're meeting up, right? And you will see, okay, it's all performative. Once you realize that this back and forth is all performative, that's when you open your eyes, when you become aware that you need to start looking for another candidate. And that's what you should be doing. You should be looking at other candidates, right? So we here in the Northeast, right? Like so we live in Orange County. Our neighbor in Rockland County has one of the most contested congressional races in all of in pretty much the United States right now, right? New York 17, Mike Lawler's seat, where we have 5 candidates running on the Democratic side, right? We have Beth Davidson, Kate Conley, we
Effie
have Effie
Phillips.
Phillips, Staley, Mike Sachs, and John Capello. And I'm going to tell you that when you start looking at the candidates, you have Beth Davidson, who is, the corporate backed Democrat in the race. You have Kate Conley, who is the APAC backed Democrat in the race, and then you have Effie Phillips Staley and Mike Sachs, who are both independents. Okay. They're both really running as grassroots independents, both of which have been very much, against what ICE is doing. They believe it should be abolished. Right. The other two believe in this whole reform nonsense, right? Which is a joke at this point in time. I think we could all see that it's a joke at this point in time, that they are doing exactly what they're being told to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't know anything about John Capello, though, do we?
I don't know anything about John Capello, but
Okay.
I'm gonna say, Mike Sachs and Effie Phillips, they're both good people, and they're both trying to win because they both believe, okay, that they can make a difference and not be beholden to the moneyed interests, okay, that are infecting our politics. And
Yeah.
it's pretty clear, right? Like that race is all about politics. I mean, Mike Lawler is leading in the polls from what I understand still. And he's a Trumper. He's MAGA. He's full on 100% MAGA.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, if that's not who you are and you want to look for a Democrat, I think we need to really, unless there's no other options, move away from the idea of, any Democrat. You have to really look, especially so here in New York, this Tuesday is election day. We're actually in the midst of early voting right now for the primaries. So, if you haven't voted yet, and you want to really have a meaningful choices, you really need to look at those that are not backed by big moneyed interests. And as Neil pointed out, one of these Democratic candidates is backed by APAC, who also backs Mike Lawler. So that should give you an idea. That right there should tell you that these are all about moneyed interests and all about being beholden to their financial backers and not to the people that elect them. So grassroots is what you want to go with. Like if you're up in Maine, already Graham Plattner has won the Democratic nomination for Senate. And if you're sitting there on the fence between him and Susan Collins, it should be a no-brainer. He is saying everything that the working class, supports. He's 100% working class, and they are attacking him in the same way that they're attacking
Here,
Tallarico. Oh, go
here's the
ahead.
thing. If you believe in a litmus test that your candidate can't be flawed, and you're willing to vote for Susan Collins, or you're allowing people like Susan Collins to win, okay, right? Then you are actually enabling the billionaires,
This
because
this machine that's been built by
right,
them.
because here's the thing. As flawed as Graham Plattner is, okay, he is not even doesn't even come close to Susan Collins. Doesn't even come close to Susan Collins. No matter what you think, doesn't even come close to Susan Collins, right? Susan Collins has been terrible
Yeah.
for America, for everybody. Okay.
I'm so concerned, and then she votes anyway. She votes for
You
Trump
know,
anyway.
but this goes to like people like Chuck Schumer and Gillibrand and all these people, right? They're all horrible people for the American people. Gillibrand, right? Because I really want to get on this topic because we were talking about the billionaires, right? Palantir, okay, who created this cabal of people, to go to Rape Island, right? Why has Gillibrand, who went after Al Franken, so quiet, right? And you haven't even barely heard from her in years, right?
Yeah,
Her
you
kid,
did. You don't hear
right?
nothing.
Hear nothing because her kid just graduated college, and guess what? Right after college, $30 million hedge fund he gets to be in charge of right out of college, right? Funded by Palantir.
And more importantly, is a $30 million derivative. And Gillibrand, just last year, was sitting on a committee that oversaw derivatives.
Right.
What are the chances that her kid would get $30 million out of college to go and do this? That doesn't happen to anybody.
But this is why this gets us into actually a broader discussion, and we don't have to talk about it right now, but this gets to the broader discussion of why people aren't going into engineering, why people aren't going into medical fields, to nursing, to degreed fields, and why the government is saying that these aren't professions anymore, because all they care about is capital. It's all they care
Right.
about. Is you go to Wall Street, you can make millions of dollars, and you don't even have to go to college for that, right? But you have to spend the next 10 years to get your medical degree, get $1 million in debt, and what? Work for an insurance company that's going to pay you $125,000 a year, $150,000 a year. Fuck you. Fuck you. Right? These billionaires are destroying the United States with this nonsense. And our politicians like Gillibrand, who took $30 million, right, for her kid, okay, are pieces of garbage and need to go away. Right? Just walk away at this point in time. You failed at your job. You failed to have integrity. You failed at all ethics whatsoever, right? To enrich your family. Okay. Go away now. Now you've made your money. Now you go away. Now let somebody else into the job, right? Because you don't own that seat. Now now if people aren't looking to primary her or get her out of that seat, right? Then they're idiots in New York.
Well, we've got a few
Same with
years
Schumer.
left with her. We got a
Yeah,
few years left with her. We're stuck with her for the time being, for the about next
but this
4.5 years.
but this is what I'm saying. Both sides of the aisle. And if you think that they're both not bad, they're both working in tandem, right? To create a police state. Flock cameras everywhere, right? Being recorded 24/7, right? You have no privacy whatsoever, no privacy with your health care, no privacy with your person, no privacy in your home, nothing. You have
Yep.
nothing that's yours. The government has now invaded every aspect of your life, right? And then has turned around and said, "We're all doing it for your benefit." Meanwhile, while reducing air, water, and food standards to
Yeah.
make you sicker, right?
Make you
Think
sicker so
about
you
that,
die. They want you to die. Literally, we're
right?
being expended. It's and it's all been organized and orchestrated through this secret society. A lot of
Right.
this through the secret society of all of these billionaires and captains of industry all getting together in their little
Yep.
cabal, hanging out on it. Eat. We'll call it Jeffrey Island. Um, doing terrible things while literally plotting our futures, right? That's it. They don't need us anymore. They've consolidated enough power and enough money that now they need to watch us so that we don't all go sharpening our pitchforks.
It's gluttony. Gluttony.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's absolute gluttony.
that's what they're suffering from. They're suffering from gluttony, right? And it's going to take the people, right, to put an end to it. And
Yeah, it's
there's
going to
only
take
two
us.
ways to do it. Either we're going to elect people with integrity, right? And not these assholes like Lindsey Graham and others out there, right? Like the Mike Lawlers of the world, or right, we're gonna. This is our demise. We're gonna be subject to corporate towns, and that's the way it's gonna be. We'll end up
Yep,
all living in a corporate town, right? There won't be any elected government anymore. We won't have any rights, and our currency will be whatever the billionaires decide to give us, and that'll be it.
that'll be it.
We'll end up having Peter Thiel money. It'll be Peter Thiel currency, right, with his picture on it, and Ellison and whatever, however they decide to divide up the United States, right? One of the congressmen came out and said the United States ain't going to be here 50 years from now. A sitting congressman said that. Randy Fine,
Randy
right,
Fine
from
said it.
Florida, right, from Florida, said that the United States won't be here in another 50 years. They are plotting this. They are planning it. This is what Project 2025 is. It's the demise of the United States. They wrapped it up in patriotism and now are shoving it down our throats. All right?
There you go.
These people aren't patriots. They don't care about America. They don't care about Americans. They don't care.
So there you go, my friends. Let us know what you think in the comments below. This is a really important topic here on the Daily Gripe. We will be talking about this and and a lot of topics that are adjacent to this. But at the core, we need to be really vigilant and aware of what is really happening and why we're being pitted against each other, because it's just so they can look over and just let us fight each other. Trust me, they are shaking hands behind the curtain and patting each other on the back. All right. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell so you get notified when new videos drop. Like and share us. And again, comment below. And also be sure to follow our sister channel, the Tao Talk Podcast. That's where we talk about local governance issues and politics and how things can get just as corrupt in your own backyard. So it's a good place. We've got a lot of content there, and it definitely crosses over to what we're doing here. All right, guys. Thanks so much. We love you, and we look forward to sharing more stuff with you in the future. Take care.
Peace out.